as a listener or a participant in IMU is that virtually, if it doesn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. Move on. If it does resonate with you, we're here to help you create a flow for your own work and to help you find individuals who can give you pieces of information through the university that will make your path walk straighter and will make you able to do what you're here to do. So we start with that in mind, and however that be, there will always be those who don't agree with it. So you don't worry about them.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And we're saying that it can happen anywhere, any place, anytime, and in any way.
Well, that's the whole idea, is to get it to happen in any place, anytime, any way.
Yes.
Because the whole idea is to eliminate the possibilities of it not happening. Let it all happen wherever and whenever. It's part of it. It's like a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
It isn't like we go into a closet and pray for 10 minutes every 2 hours or whatever, because I think the life has to become that prayer.
Well, that brings up another aspect of that, which would be, well, someone might say, well, how do you know that what you're receiving is the truth, or is of the light,
or is even of these so-called ascended masters?
And there's a thing called discernment, and as you work with the vibrations, you begin to know them, and you'll see if what you want to see is of the light.
Well, if you continually call
and
for
you
what
continually
you want
call
to see,
for it, that's the whole point of the decrees.
Yeah, you can expect that it's going to come back to you in some way, as much in reality as it can. Based on your ability to accept it, it will come back to you as strong as it can. And this is the whole idea, is to activate that.
The more open you are to receive the light, the less darkness there is in you. It may be that you're 30% open or 20% open and 80% closed. And so that's as much light as can come in. And you're saying to somebody else who may be 70% open, well, that can't be. Well, it might not be in your experience yet, but that doesn't mean that it can't be.
Yeah, because it isn't in your experience doesn't mean it can't be. Well, one of the things that we go with here, and one of the things that I instruct all students of spirituality, is go with the Platonic model. Believing is seeing. If you go with the Aristotelian model, seeing is believing, you're going to be waiting a long time before you see anything that you can believe. If you believe something, eventually you'll see it. It'll come back to you and you'll say, well, what I believed was true. The Aristotelian model, or the seeing is believing model, has been deemed realistic, and the Platonic model, which is believing is seeing, has become what we call idealistic. So in these two isms, we've separated the two and we've gone with realistic because we feel if we don't go with realism, we're going to lose our way. Well, unfortunately, the planet reflects a lot of loss of the way. Now, if you see what you want to see until you have proof that you can believe it, then you come back and you say, well, I've believed this long enough to see the truth of it. Then you can talk to someone else about it. You can't talk to people at this level about what you read or what you've heard. You have to talk about what you know. And the whole idea is that once the masters are proved to you, you don't have any doubt. If you look back at Blavatsky and you say, well, listen, I want a phenomena to prove. I want somebody to appear in the corner. Well, you know, this isn't going to happen in this day and age. And furthermore, it didn't work then. So those people who saw manifestations, many of them turned back. They turned back from theosophy because they lost the way. But it wasn't because of theosophy, it was because of them. If you read The Secret Doctrine, you discover that it is true. It's 100% true. It's the Kuthumi masterpiece of writing that tells what really underpins the whole of existence, the whole of the planetary systems, how hierarchy works, where planets come from, where humanity came from. It's all in there. So you don't need to worry about saying, well, is any of this true? let's go back and do some work. Let's go back and see what's been held true all along. What do we base this teaching on? Does it have provability in its age? Of course it does.
There's also a lot to be said for pushing the envelope of that by allowing for things to be possible in your consciousness. If you look at the development of scientific inquiry over the last 400 years, they came from a place of having to objectify everything to where they are now in advanced physics with string theory, where it's very abstract and it takes leaps of the imagination to even comprehend it. So in a sense, if you're able to imagine different kinds of observations, while you've just opened up doors to many more avenues of understanding.
Well, every avenue you shut is not a possibility for you. If you say El Morya doesn't exist, then you're just shutting him out. So that's fine if you want to do that. You know who's given credit for the scientific method? Francis Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
I had completely forgotten this. The scientific method is the method of inquiry. How do we find out whether a thing is true or not? Well, we inquire into it. We go around and we find out what are the facts about this.
Well, that's why.
Who said what about what? We unite with all this thinking, the Pythagorean school of Crotona. We unite with the Buddhist school in India. We unite, in a sense, with the entire lineage of gurus. This is 2008. So not only what's available, but what can be said now is different than was so in Blavatsky's time or in Guy Ballard's time or even in Mark and Elizabeth Clare Prophet's time. So what we are able to say, reflected by our level of attunement with the Ascended Masters, is its own credibility. There's no way anything can be proven.
The thinkers throughout the ages have said that this is the dream, and you wake up into the real world. And
well, I'm sure that's true.
There's a line from, I think it was in your first book, it said, from the lower reality, the higher reality is not provable.
It's not provable, yeah, I said that. It isn't.
Does the higher reality depend on you for its recognition, or is it just is?
Or is it self-existent? Well, here, to me, and of course this can be my aberration just as it could be yours, to me, I have proof of the higher domains. I have proof of the Ascended Masters. And, you know, I've had enough proof over the years to say I've been proven this.
You had to be open, though, to receive that proof. If you were
I had to be open
if you were
it,
saying,
yes.
well, it can't be done this way, it can't happen that way, you're closing doors to potential proof of something that you're looking for.
Say, for instance, the information I'm getting hasn't been verified in one of the previous texts. Like, it wasn't in Ballard, it wasn't in Prophet, it wasn't in Bailey or Blavatsky. So therefore I can't say for a fact that this release of information about the Ascended Masters, so-called release of information from the Ascended Masters, is accurate and true. I have no way of knowing that or proving that.
Even though it's my experience, I still can't say for certain that it's there.
If there is a temporary existence, does it have any reality at all?
Right.
This is a creation. Oh, this is all a thought form. I've created it in my head, therefore it exists outside of me.
How else would it be created?
God is in all of it. There isn't any place God isn't.
Right.
So therefore there isn't any place that God is either.
Yes.
We're in duality here. There isn't any such thing.
Yes.
So the whole issue of the Ascended Masters and the whole issue about what we've been talking about today, it's does God exist? If he does, who is he? Well, that's already limiting God, and it's already beyond unity into duality. Now, if you choose to believe that, you might find that this is adequate for you proof. We are International Ascended Master University. Good night.